Ever wanted to talk about your plans or your dreams in French, but just felt like you're hitting a wall? Well, it turns out there's this simple, kind of elegant secret that French speakers use all the time, and today we're going to crack it open.
So, let's kick things off with a simple question. If you have free time this weekend, what are you going to do? Maybe you'll read a book or see some friends. That universal if-then way of thinking, that's exactly what we're unlocking in French today.
And look, this isn't about some crazy, complicated grammar rule you have to memorize. Think of it more like a formula, a logical tool you can start using to talk about the future with confidence, like right away.
And the key that unlocks this whole thing? It's just one tiny two-letter word, si, which, yeah, you probably guessed it, means if. This little word is literally the engine that drives all sorts of future possibilities. All right, section 1, a formula for the future. We're going to look at how French speakers connect conditions to results. And trust me, once you see this pattern, you'll start hearing it everywhere.
Okay, so the fancy grammar name for this is the si clause. But don't let that term scare you off. All it really means is you're setting up a realistic what-if scenario. You're just creating a link between a possible situation and what will happen because of it.
And here it is, the formula, broken down into two super simple steps. Step 1 is the condition. It starts with si, and this is the important part. It uses the present tense. Then you've got step 2, the result. That's what's gonna happen. So that part uses the future tense. See? Present condition, future result. It just makes sense.
Let's see this thing in action. Si je finis mon travail, if I finish my work, right? That's our condition. And notice it's in the present tense. So what's the result? Je sortirai ce soir. I will go out tonight. Boom. Future tense. See? Condition, result. Perfect.
Okay, on to section 2, the one golden rule. So you've got the formula down, but there is one rule you absolutely positively have to know. This is what separates people who sound like they're reading from a textbook from people who sound natural.
Okay, you ready? Here it is. Burn this into your memory. In that first part of the sentence, the part that starts with si, you never, ever, ever use the future tense. I know it feels like you should, because you're talking about the future, but nope. The condition itself always stays in the present. And this right here is the #1 mistake people make. Your brain wants to say, if I will have time, right? It feels logical, but in French, that's a big no-no. The condition stays simple, in the present. Si j'ai, if I have. The future tense, that's only for the result part of the sentence. Just remember this. Keep the future out of your si clause.
All right, section 3, from plans to daydreams. Let's have some fun with this and see how this little formula works in actual conversations. For everything from simple weekend plans to our biggest, wildest daydreams.
So, let's picture a pretty great scenario. What will you do if you travel to France? Go on, think about it for a sec. How would you build that sentence using the formula we just learned?
A classic answer, and it's absolutely perfect. Si je voyage en France, present tense condition, right? And the result? Je visiterai le Louvre. Future tense result. See? You're talking about a future trip, but you're using a present condition to set it up. It just works so well. Okay, let's get a little more imaginative. Let's forget about concrete plans for a minute and just daydream. What happens if you win the lottery? And look how versatile this is. Si je gagne, if I win. That's present tense. And the result of that awesome condition? Je voyagerai. I will travel. Future tense. The exact same formula takes you from making practical plans to dreaming about changing your entire life.
Now, obviously, to really make this work, you need the right tools for that second half of the sentence, the result. And that means we got to get comfortable with a few key verbs in the future tense. So think of this as your personal cheat sheet. These are some of the most common irregular verbs you're going to run into. You can see the future stem here. That's the base you'll add the endings to. Like for to go, aller, the stem is ir. And for to be, être, it's ser. These are absolute must-knows. Okay, so knowing the stems is one thing, but seeing them in a real sentence is where the light bulb really goes on. So let's grab one of those irregulars from the table and put it to work. And here we are. Si je peux, if I can, simple present tense. And the result? J'irai à Paris. I will go to Paris. And there it is, that irregular stem IR from the verb aller. The formula holds up. even with the tricky verbs. All right, last section. Your key to the future. Let's just zoom out for a second and really appreciate how powerful this one little structure is. Seriously, this isn't just about passing a grammar quiz, it's a key that unlocks actual, real-life conversations.
So let's do a quick recap of the essentials. First, you're going to use see to talk about what's possible. The formula is your new best friend. See plus the present tense leads to the future tense. And what's the golden rule? That's right. Never use the future tense right after see. You can use this for everything, weekend plans, life goals, all of it.
You know, by really getting this one concept down, you've grabbed so much more than just a grammar rule. You've got a key building block for genuine fluency. This is how you go from just describing stuff to actually expressing your own personal vision for the future.
So, you have the formula now. You've got the secret. The only question left is, what are you going to do with it? What future are you going to describe starting right now?